We are going to be using the trial and error method for this very formulation, and whatever we're producing is going to be in 100 kg, and the crude protein is going to be 19.7%. The reason is because why we have 19.7% is because of the type of feed we're producing. This is your layer starter. This is your layer starter, so it's within the range of 19 to 20%. That's the crude protein for layer starter. So we are going to use 19.7, and then we are going to produce 100 kg of this feed. Now, in this trial and error method, we try to manipulate the measure of each of these feed materials. From here you see the feed materials. We try to manipulate it in a way that would arrive at a balance, an equilibrium, right? So for the ingredients, we have maize, we have guinea corn, we have millets. These three are your carbohydrate sources. Okay, now you have fish meal, you have groundnut cake, you have blood meal. These three are now your protein sources. You also have limestone, bone meal, methionine, and salt. These four are your mineral sources. Okay, so but limestone and bone meal are your calcium sources, and these two are very important, especially for layers, because of the fact that calcium helps in bone formation and production of egg. And since we're talking about layers, it means these two are very important. Then finally you have the premix. This premix contains your vitamins. All right, so these are all the ingredients you have that we'll be using for this feed. There are other ingredients you can use, all right? So, but whatever ingredients you are using, you must have some certain values known of those feed stuffs, those feed ingredients, all right? So, if you look at the columns you have, apart from the ingredients, you have the crude protein, the column for crude protein. After the column for crude protein, you have the column for percentage crude protein. After that, you have kg and total crude protein. So we'll take it one after the other. So after ingredients, you have this crude protein, and this crude protein is the amount of protein in each of the feed stuff, each of the ingredients. All right, so and most times is predetermined, more like it's known already, it's calculated. All right, so it's almost fixed. Now for your maize, you have a particular crude protein in maize. For guinea corn, you have it's known, so there's nothing you are going to do there. You just find it. As I said, if you don't use this feed stuff, whatever feed stuff you are using, you need to know some things about it. For instance, you need to know the crude protein before you can be able to formulate feed with it. All right, so for maize, we know the crude protein of maize. The crude protein of maize is 7. For guinea corn, the crude protein of guinea corn is 8. The crude protein for millet is 11, and then the crude protein for fish meal is 45. For that of groundnut cake, you have 40, and for blood meal, you have 80. So these are the crude protein for the protein, the carbohydrate sources and the protein sources. Now the percentage crude protein is actually not very difficult to get, because it is a percentage of the crude protein. All right, so you get the percentage of this, it's going to give you the figure here. Okay, so the percentage of 7, is simply, if you divide 7 by 100, you have 0.07. Okay, so 0.07 is the percentage crude protein. Take percentage of this, you get this. For 0.08. If you divide this by 100, 0.11, 0.45, 0.40, and 0.80. And now you might be asking why limestone, bone meal, and the rest don't have figures. Now the reason is because these guys, they don't have a significant level of crude protein at all. They don't, so it's negligible. We ignore them, all right? But for your protein, your carbohydrates, those ones, they have protein in them, so we can attach a value to them, all right? Okay, so coming to kg, this is where the work really is. This is where the trial and error really plays out. So what we try to do here is to find out figures that we can place in all of these feedstuffs that will amount to 100 kg. That's the very first thing we try to do. Okay, so if we assign any kg here, anyone here, anyone, it's trial and error. We'll try and see if it will give us 100. You just keep putting figures and we hope it ends at 100 kg. Okay, so there are some tricks you need to know anyway. Okay, because the protein in carbohydrate sources is not so much most times, not all the time anyway. Even in this feedstuff, I think some protein was higher than the carbohydrate. So, but most times the kg given to carbohydrate is always higher compared to the proteins. The reason is because there's lesser crude protein. So the more number we have, the significant the crude protein will be. Then the smaller number we have in crude, the proteins, the more balanced it will be, because they already have higher figures. If you check, this is 0.45, maize is 0.07. So if you are putting a kg that is very high here, right, the protein will be too much. So we'll put smaller proteins here, and smaller kgs here and higher kgs for the carbohydrates. So it's just a simple trick that will help you know exactly what the figures should actually look like. All right, so I already have some figures here, because if you want to do trial and error from scratch on this video, we'll spend hours doing that. All right, so what we have here is 35. What I put here is 35. We have 10. Remember it's 100 kg we are looking for. We have 10. We have 10 here also. I have 11. I have 20. 30 for blood meal. Then also 3.5. 3.5. 3.5. Because we're dealing with layers, so they need a lot of calcium. So we have methionine put 2 here. We have 1 for salt, 1 kg for premix. So if you add all this up, it's going to give you exactly 100. All right. So the next thing we are going to do is, after you have gotten 100, the next thing you are going to do is to find your total crude protein. And the total crude protein is a multiplication of the kg and the percentage crude protein. Okay, so if you multiply this and this, it's going to give you this. If you multiply this and this, it's going to give you this. Then a sum of all this should give us 19.7. All right, so would do that. 2.45 is what you get when you multiply 0.07 and 35. And when you multiply this, you're going to have 0.80. You have 1.1 here. You have 4.95. Then you have 8 here. You have 2.4. So if you add all these guys up, it's going to give you 19.7. But let me make some things very clear to you. Some things that you need to know about what we just did. Whatever you manipulate here affects this very column. obviously you can see what you multiply with this gives you this. This is constant, this is constant. All these guys are constant, but this is the variable here. This is the guy that changes. These guys will not change. As long as it's guinea corn, it's always 0.08. It will not change. So what will change will always be here, right? This is what will change. And then whatever you do here affects the crude protein, right? That affects the crude. It means that even if you've gotten 100 kg, when you multiply with the crude protein, when you multiply with it, and it doesn't end up giving you 19.7 or 20 point, whatever you're looking for, it means you will still come back here and, do another trial again, change the figures, right? Now, this is a little trick also that you can use to make this easier for yourself. You can see that from limestone downward, the minerals and the vitamins don't have a concern with the crude protein problem, right? So it will be easy for you to know, based on the requirements that the beds we need. You postulate the kg for the minerals and vitamins, make it fixed. I mean, since we are not going to, there's no trial and error on it. You just apply. The reason why these ones are high is because it's a layer feed and they need a lot of calcium. That's why these guys are high. If it were to be broiler, maybe this would have been 2.5, this would have been 3 or 2.5 as well. But because it's layer, it's higher than that. Okay, so you just put these figures down. So this is 7, this is 9, this is 10, this is 11. So from the minerals to the vitamins, you have 11. So what you now be looking for is 89, right? So all these things now will now be 89. So when you check what you put here, when you check and it doesn't give you the total crude protein you are looking for, you come back here and do another figure within that 89. It's 89 you are manipulating, not the ones down. They are fixed already, since we don't have a problem with them. All right. So let me give you an example of what I mean. The crude protein of this feed is 19.7, right? So if I want to reduce it, maybe it's too much, it's not what I'm looking for. Maybe I'm looking for something like 18, right? Maybe what I'm looking for is 18. So I'll now come and look, what will I reduce? What figure will I reduce now that will make this crude protein to be smaller? What you are manipulating is the kg. So if you look at this here, you find out that this guy has a lot of crude protein. So if I do something to this guy and it reduces, then it will affect the total crude protein, right? It will affect the sum. So if I figure out this guy, I could decide, okay, let me reduce this guy to 9. If I reduce this guy to 9, it will be less than what it is here, maybe 4 point something or less than 4. Okay, so the number is going to drop. But I removed 2 from here, so it's no longer going to be 100 kg. Okay, so I might decide to carry that 2 and put it here. Instead of this being 10, it will now be 12. Okay, and since when we multiply it, the value we have here will not be so much, right? If it increases, this might be 84. If you add to here, it might be 84 or something, 84, maybe even 1, right? An addition of 0.2. So if you add 0.2 to maybe let's say 4.0, no, let's say 3.9. If you add 0.2 to it, it will just be around 4, all right? And it will reduce the 19.7. That's the total at the end of the day, all right? So that is a way of reducing. Then if you want to increase, maybe the crude protein, what I'm looking for is 20. Okay, you can come to any of these guys that are not significant, remove from them and add to the one that is significant. The crude protein value will go up, all right, because to affect the figures here. Imagine you add this guy to be 12, you remove 9 from here and make it 12 here, or you remove 1 from here that's to make it 34 and make this guy 12. This guy is going to increase significantly because the crude protein here is high. It's going to increase significantly. So the total crude protein will then increase. You understand? So this is the way you just keep trying this guy. You keep trying this guy, and you keep calculating if it gives you what you are looking for. Meanwhile, it has to be 100. All right. So this will take a lot of practice for you to be able to master. My very self, when I learned this, it took me time to, get very used to it and to master it. So you too would need to try it over and over again to get it right. All right, so there's something else I want you to pay attention to. Okay, there's something else I want you to pay attention to. Now, you produce 100 kg of feed. All right, you produce 100 kg of feed. Let's assume what you're looking for is not really 100 kg. What you're looking for is 25 kg. What you're going to do is that, what is here is 100 kg. Okay. So if you want to make this 50 kg, what you want to produce is actually 50 kg or 25 kg. Let's assume you want to produce 50 kg. What you're going to do is that we are going to divide all these figures by 2. Okay? You even if it's 50 kg you want to produce initially, first of all you produce 100 kg. That's, you calculate 100 kg ration. All right? And then you divide everything by 2. It's going to give you 50 kg. If it's 25 kg you are looking for, you divide everything by 4. All right, so it gives you your 25 kg, it gives you your 50 kg. If you want to multiply, that you want to produce something higher than that, if it's 200 kg you are looking for, you multiply everything by 2. If it's 400 kg you are looking for, you multiply everything by 4. All right, so this is how you go about your trial and error method. So I hope this helps you. And then in the ebook that we have, a lot of all these things I explained there, and the crude protein of most of the feedstuffs we use in production is also in the ebook. All right, so the ebook makes it a bit easier for you to have these things so that I don't have to go and be looking for files to get the figures you need. So it's quite simple. Let me just reiterate everything I've said in a summary. So you have this crude protein values given already. Now, the ingredients would be definitely the ingredients that are available to you. But just know that maize is a very important feed stuff because it contains almost all the amino acids that is required. In fact, there are some proteins in maize that don't exist in other carbohydrates. So maize is like very important feed stuff. Right? So, but the rest would be based on what is available to you. Right, so you have soya bean cake for protein, you have palm kernel cake, so you have a lot of that. So you select any of these feed materials based on what is available to you. So when you have the feed materials, you have to look for the crude protein of each of those materials. It's always given. You don't have to stress your head. It's always given. All right. I didn't calculate any of this. I got it. It's always given. Then you proceed to your percentage crude protein. You divide everything by 100. It gives you this percentage. Now this is where the trial and error comes in. You first of all calculate your minerals and your protein, your minerals and your vitamins, so that it doesn't cause a lot of confusion. So once you have them, if you fix the figure, then the remainder you share it among your protein and carbohydrates, always knowing that your carbohydrates will always carry more. You give it to them, you share it among them. Then you now multiply. You multiply the kg and the percentage crude protein. It will give you the total crude protein. So when you do it for each of these guys, you add them up. If it doesn't give you 19.7 or whatever figure you are looking at, you come back here, remove from here and add here, remove from here and add here, you keep doing that until the summation of this gives you the particular sum you are looking for. So that's the general concept behind trial and error method. And with this, you can produce any poultry feed you want to produce. So I hope this is helpful.